All right, first up today, simple steps to make breathing easier while wearing a mask.
Yeah, on Saturday, the governor mandated that we wear a mask almost everywhere indoors. And joining us now to weigh in on this and offer tips on the great mask debate is board certified sleep and sinus surgeon, Dr. Madan Kandula. Hey, doctor,
Hey,
how you
doctor.
doing?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. Thanks for joining us. It seems like it's what everybody is talking about lately. There's this big controversy about masks, and I wonder if what your sense is about this controversy.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into the political part of the controversy. I'm staying out of that. But I will say, and this is something we've been talking about with our patients and just at Advent here recently, is that if you think about what a mask is doing, a mask is covering your nose and throat, obviously, your nose and your mouth, and that's your breathing triangle, as we refer to it as. That's fundamental. There is nothing more fundamental to a human being or any animal, for that matter, as breathing is. And so when you restrict somebody's breathing, it sets off this kind of fight or flight mechanism. It sets off this anxiety. It sets off a lot of things that kind of go to your core. But I don't think people realize that that's maybe at the heart of a lot of some of this pushback with masks, because they're not conscious of it. I mean, nobody likes to. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, the reality is when you restrict somebody's airway, they don't like it. I don't like it. You don't like it. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter. And I think now in this day and age, there's a necessary part of this reality that we're all having to get used to, and that's trying to obviously prevent the spread of COVID. But on the flip side, there's this underlying reality that I don't think anybody has ever talked about. I haven't heard about it, other than hearing about it from our patients. Is this sort of unnerving sense that when I put a mask on, I have a hard time breathing. I don't think people even make that connection, but they say, I think in their mind, you think, I put a mask on and I don't like that feeling. And then I don't know that they connect the dot between, I don't like that feeling, I don't like the feeling that I can't breathe properly. I don't like it when I can't breathe properly. That's really, I think, a key take home with this segment today is it's a natural phenomena to have some of those feelings. It's not normal to feel like you're actually suffocating with a mask on. That's not normal.
Well, I think that's such a great point that you bring up, is that fundamental feeling. And we aren't trained professionals like nurses and doctors who are used to wearing them. So I think there is that initial gut reaction of fight or flight, like you mentioned. So I don't know anybody who's said, I enjoy taking a breath with a mask on, but how do you know that you have a compromised airway? Because I think that's what you're getting at, is some people truly have difficulties breathing.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. And it's kind of this weird dynamic, because I think we as a practice have recognized how important what we do is, and I'm going to kind of take the question to kind of turn a little bit of a different direction, is when we treat our patients, so what we're known for, what we do is really fix airways with office-based solutions. And a lot of the time, I'd say most of the time, when we help somebody breathe properly, and they, after procedure, are breathing like they're supposed to be breathing, it's like you're taking a mask off. So if you've been walking around with a mask, like figurative mask, your whole life, and all of a sudden somebody takes it off for you, it's a revelation, it's an epiphany, it's like this is something outstanding. And so the challenge is for our patients, prior to us being able to get them to that point, they don't necessarily know that there's something not quite right. I think in this mask era that we're in right now, basically the folks that we can help are folks that have compromised airways preceding a mask, so they just kind of are walking around with noses that aren't open enough, throats that aren't open enough, and they're just sort of dealing with it, and that's probably, I think they just assume that's their lot in life. Now the challenge is if you imagine having a mask and then putting something else on top of that, 2 masks, 3 masks, that kind of thing. So if somebody's already walking around with a compromised airway and all of a sudden now you have to put a mask on top of that, it gets to be too much. And again, I don't know that, I think the challenge is nobody likes putting a mask on. I think most people at this point understand that why we need to do that. Although those folks that truly have compromised airways, when they put a mask on, it's very problematic. And I think we are seeing an uptick in people coming in to get checked out, because never before in my practice, and never before that I've ever seen, that the airway has become as prominent. It's top of mind for everybody, that because we're intimately involved in putting masks in our face these days.
And I know you feel that nothing is really more important than having an open airway. So how can Advent help?
Yeah, I mean, really, I think if somebody has a question or concern that they might have something going on, it's getting in and letting us check things out. It's that simple. And the reality is, a lot of people, it's easy to dismiss these issues. So if you can't breathe through your nose properly, pre-COVID, pre-putting a mask on, you just deal with it. Now with COVID, you can't breathe through your nose and you put a mask on. It's a big deal, and it's a day-to-day challenge. And same thing, so a sign that somebody's got a nose problem is they can't breathe through with their mouth shut and their nose open easily, day and night. You should be able to do that. On the flip side, somebody's got a throat that's too tight. If they're snoring or they have sleep apnea, that's what that is. And so I think for those folks, it's really recognizing that there's a problem, recognizing that there are solutions, and recognizing that there's something you can do about it. I think those simple steps, it's really a matter of, yes, there's something not right here. The other reality these days is it's this weird dynamic where, a lot of folks are working from home. A lot of folks have sort of time on their hands to some extent. And so a lot of folks are taking advantage of that by getting in to see us. We can see folks virtually now. And so that really lowers the bar to allow somebody to get in and get checked out.
Well, I think that's so important, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, that people take care of these issues, because whether it's sleeping or trouble breathing, it is, like you said, an essential function that we want to feel comfortable and good with. So I'm going to give some information so people can contact you, Doctor. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yep, appreciate it. Here's the information for Advent. Plenty locations: Tosa, Mequon, Oconomowoc, Pleasant Prairie, Oak Creek, Appleton, and Chicago. 414-771-6780 or email at info@adventknows.com, or adventknows.com is the website for more, and those virtual visits as well.